Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before I want to introduce myself, my name is Ari Permadi. I'm from Education of Study Language in STKP Muhammadiyah Kota Bumi, and now change the name be Universitas Muhammadiyah Kota Bumi Lampung Utara. Today I want to explain about the seminar text from the Mr. Ellis. Before I want to introduction background of the problem. Background of the problem. Based on the interview done with one of the English teacher of SMA Negeri 1 Kota Bumi North Lampung on Monday, April 4th, 2018. There are some problems found in the field when giving writing tasks to the student at the 10th grade. The first problem is students feel difficult in writing activity, especially in writing descriptive text because they lack vocabulary. The second problem is students do not write text grammatically. The third problem is there are many errors in spelling. Besides the problem in relation with the writing system, there are several problems related to the student effective domain line. For example, the student have low motivation and interest in doing the tasks in writing activity. As the result, their writing ability does not improve well as is target. Based on the situation above, the research is interested in conducting a research entitled Student Learning Difficulties in Writing Descriptive Text at the 10th grade of Sekolah Menengah Atas Negeri or SMA Negeri 1 Kota Bumi North Lampung academic year 2018 until 2019. Identification of the problem. In accordance with the background of the problem above, the research identifies the research problem as follows. The first student at the 10th grade of SMA Negeri 1 Kota Bumi North Lampung feel difficulty in writing descriptive text. Student at the 10th grade of SMA Negeri 1 Kota Bumi North Lampung have lack vocabulary. Student at the 10th grade of SMA Negeri 1 Kota Bumi North Lampung many error in spelling in writing descriptive text. Student of 10th grade of SMA Negeri 1 Kota Bumi North Lampung have low motivation and interest in writing descriptive text. Okay, and then limitation of the problem. Based on the identification of the problem above, the research focus and investigation students learning difficulties in writing descriptive text at the 10th grade of SMA Negeri 1 Kota Bumi North Lampung academic year 2018 until 2019. Formulation of the problem. Based on the limitation of the problem, the researcher formulates the problem as follows. How is student learning difficulties in writing descriptive text at the 10th grade of SMA Negeri 1 Kota Bumi North Lampung in academic year 2018 until 2019. Okay, then objective of the research. The objective of the research is to describe how student learning difficulties in writing descriptive text at the 10th grade of SMA Negeri 1 Kota Bumi North Lampung in academic year 2018 until 2019. Use of the research. 1. Theoretically, and the second practically. Second, there are two. A for teacher, B for the next research. Theory review. Concept of writing descriptive text. Conclude writing. Descriptive text is a type of writing that gives clear and concise description of place, people, or thing. The primary objective of writing descriptive is to frame an image of the place, people, or thing, and the means of reader talk sufficient details and allow them to feel that thing throughout their sense. And then writing process. According to Osima and Hogu, there are 4 pieces on the process of writing. They are pre-writing, planning, writing and revising draft, finally copy. And then types of writing. The first is imitative, the second is intensive or controlled, the third is responsive, and the fourth is extensive. Okay, and then concept of learning difficulties in writing. Linguistic problem. There are grammatical problem. So from the grammatical problem, sentence structural problem, and the problem of diction. So this is the problem. And B, cognitive problem. Punctuation problem, capitalization problem, spelling problem, content problem, and problem organization. Okay, review of previous related research. Based on several previous related researches, the researches have similarities and differences. Here, the similarity is about variable. All of the previous relates research and this research use student learning difficulties as a variable. And then the difference is about research method. The second previous related research use descriptive qualitative as method. But in this research, the researcher use descriptive quantitative. The researcher is descriptive quantitative method because in this research, the researcher will describe and analyze the data using statistics. And then frame of thinking. There are many problems that students face when the teacher gives writing tasks such as linguistic and cognitive problems. It makes students have low ability in writing, especially in writing descriptive text. In this case, the researcher will give questionnaire to analyze how student learning difficulties in writing, especially in writing descriptive text. The researcher assumed if the teacher know how is condition student. Okay, now how is condition of student? The teacher can choose interesting learning technique to improve student writing ability. And research method. Research method in a research, the research method is the most important one of some research elements. The research method that is chosen by the researcher will affect the study. It has very important role to make the concept of planning as evidence of research. In this research, the researcher use descriptive, quantitative methods. According to Sugiono, quantitative research is research method that based on positivism philosophy, which is used to investigate population or sample. In collect the data, use research instrument, analyze the data statistically with the purpose to test the hypothesis that has been made similarly. And then population, sample, and sample technique. Population. Population is the total number subject of the research. The population of this research is all of 10th grade student of SMA Negeri 1 Kota Bumi North Lampung academic year 2018 until 2019. The 10th grade are consist of 9 classes. Sample. Sample is a party population according to Sugiono. The sample is party of the number on and characteristic passed by the population. According to Arikunto, if the subject is less than 100, it is better to take all of the subject. But if the subject is more than 100, the researcher can take between 10%, 5%, 20%, 25% or more based on the theory above. In this research, the researcher will take 10% of the population. Sampling technique. Sampling technique is the way to take a sample according to Sugiono. Sampling technique is technique in taking the sample. Sixth instrument. Conceptual definition of learning difficulties in writing descriptive text. B. Operational definition of learning difficulties in writing descriptive text. And C. Specification instrument of learning difficulties in writing descriptive text. The validity of instrument. Point 3. Reliability instrument. Data collecting technique. In this research, the researcher will use questionnaire to collect the data. Kind of questionnaire which is used is clause questionnaire. Clause questionnaire is questionnaire that consists of question or statement with a number of choice answer to be chosen by the response. Necessian. In the other words, it is clause questionnaire in which the correspondent only choose one of the alternative answer that has been. Data analysis technique. Descriptive analysis. This research will use descriptive analysis to describe the data variable of the research. In the research, the purpose of descriptive analysis to describe mean or median or ME, modus or MO, and deviation standard or SD. And then the point 5.2 categorization of learning difficulties. This research will classify students' learning difficulties into 5 categories, which are very low, sufficient, high, and very high. Okay, and this is my presentation, and the session, the next session, I open to Miss Alice to ask to from my presentation, and I apologize if me many wrong. And finally, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.